Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I just finished a run here, and I was just recording a video. I'm just actually re-recording part of this because I lost it somehow, and now a plane's coming. All right. But anyway, I was thinking about this topic a while ago, and I never did a video on it, and then I got reminded of it today because I heard someone talking about it again in an audiobook I was listening to. And it's basically this concept of, and I think it's a good concept, don't get me wrong. There's a problem with it, and I'll tell you in a second here. But the concept is act as if you couldn't fail. Or essentially, sometimes it's said as, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? How would your life change? What things would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And this is a great concept, right? I mean, if you could apply this to your life, what kind of things would you do if you knew if you knew there was no way you're going to fail? I mean, you would go out there and you would quit your job and start your business today, right? You'd go and you'd ask that hot girl out, right? Because you can't fail, right? You'd go in, what would you do? You do all kinds of things that you might want to do in life. Here's the problem with that, though, and this is the same problem that I have with the law of attraction. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the law of attraction. I believe it's true, and I've seen it work in my life. Is as weird as you might think that is. But here's the reason why it doesn't work for most people, and this doesn't work. Do you believe it? Can you believe it? The problem with this thinking, with saying act as if you could not fail, or believe that you cannot fail and then do things, is that you can't believe that, right? Or very few people can, right? If I tell you to act as if you cannot fail, are you really going to believe that anything that you do that you have no possibility of failing? No, you're not going to believe that. I mean, maybe someone would believe that. Same thing with the law of attraction. A lot of people say it doesn't work, and it doesn't work for them because they can't believe the thing that they're trying to attract, right? I believe if you can actually believe it, then it does come through, or you can make it happen. So I'm going to give you an alternative here. So let's say instead of saying act as if you could not fail, what if you acted as if failing didn't matter? Can you believe that? I could believe that, right? I could believe that failing doesn't matter because I can convince you of that. I can't convince you that you cannot fail because we all know you're going to fail at some stuff. In fact, most of the stuff that you attempt for the first time, that's anything worth doing, is you're probably going to fail before you succeed. I mean, really, like what awesome accomplishment are you going to do that you're not going to fail first? You're going to fail, right? I mean, but what if I said failing doesn't matter because it is the road to success? What if I said that every successful thing, every great thing that I've accomplished in life, every great thing that most people have accomplished in life, there's a plane, they failed first, right? What if I told you that? Would you believe that? Because that's true. That's certainly true. So based on that premise, if you believe that failure is not the end, that failure is not a bad thing, so what if you fail? Then you can ask yourself, now what would I do if failing didn't matter? If failing was actually the step to success? If I would eventually succeed if I go forward, if I'm willing to fail a few times to get there, and failing isn't the bad thing that I thought it was. It isn't what they taught me in school, that getting an F meant that I failed. It just meant that I didn't know enough yet, that I didn't succeed yet. I didn't succeed yet. That's what failure means. If you take that thinking, that's going to get you far. That's going to get you a lot farther than saying, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Because we all know that that's not true. And that's the thing. And I'll give you this last piece of advice and then I'll wrap this up. When people tell you things that you don't believe, they're not going to help you. Positive affirmations that you can't get yourself to believe, they're not going to work. A lot of people, bash the whole self-help, the whole positive visualizations and affirmations thing and all this stuff. And the problem is, a lot of them are right because they don't believe that stuff. You have to find a way to believe things, or tell yourself stuff that you can actually believe, or convince yourself of things if you want to have success. Because if you're just going through the motions, if you don't actually believe something, you're not going to follow through. It's not going to make a difference. So figure out ways when someone tells you something like that. Again, like I said, when I hear act as if you cannot fail, I think how can I turn this around to something I can believe? Well, I can't believe that I cannot fail, but I can believe that failure doesn't matter, that failure is a step to success. There's a lot of ways I can spin that and make that awesome, right? Same thing, if you had a positive affirmation, if you said, I am strong and confident, that you might not believe, right, if you're not. But you can believe, I can choose to act strong and confident today. And that you can believe. All right, if you like this video, if you like this channel, subscribe. Talk to you next time. Take care.